Now next character in the fungi, that is the reproduction. All the fungi, they reproduce by various types, and from these the common types are vegetative, asexual and sexual. These are the three common methods of reproduction in the fungi, that is the vegetative, asexual and sexual. Now from this, number one, that is the vegetative. It takes place with the help of fragmentation. The body of the fungus is a mycelium. When this mycelium breaks in a number of fragments, then each fragment has a capacity to develop into a new mycelium if the conditions are favorable. So this is the number one type of vegetative reproduction, which is called as the fragmentation. Now second, that is the budding. Generally, this budding is seen in unicellular fungi. This is the daughter cell, which is newly formed. This is mother cell. So this is the most common type of the vegetative reproduction which is found in the fungi. When there is large amount of the food material in such a condition, if the fungi are unicellular, they divide, they reproduce by this budding method. Now in this cell, for example, it is found in the Saccharomyces, which is called as the yeast. Now in the yeast cell or in the Saccharomyces cell, at the center there is very large vacuole is there, and there is one nucleus is there. Now at the time of budding, this nucleus becomes large in size. It exerts a pressure on outer wall, and because of this, small protuberance or a bud is get formed. At the meanwhile, the single nucleus is also divided mitotically like this, and from this one nucleus is migrated in this newly formed bud, and one nucleus remains in the mother cell. And this constriction is get increased from both the side, and a new cell is get formed. So this is the new cell formed, which is called as the daughter cell, and this is the mother cell. At the initial stages of the development, the new cell, which is called as the daughter cell, is small in size, but later on it becomes large, just like the mother cell. So this is about the budding. It takes place in the unicellular fungi, for example Saccharomyces. Now there is another type also, which is called as the fusion. Now this is the third type of vegetative reproduction found in the fungi, which is called as the fusion. Here simple cell division takes place. Now it has again single nucleus. This nucleus divides mitotically, and also the cell is also getting divided into the two cells. So this is the dividing cell, and finally wall formation takes place in between these two cells, and in each cell there is a new divided mitotically divided new nuclei is there, and finally the two new nuclei are the two new cells are formed. So this is about the fusion. Now next point, that is the asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction takes place with the help of asexual spores, and generally on the basis of a developmental pattern there are the two different types of the asexual spores, that is exogenous and endogenous. So these are two types of the spores, that is endogenous. This is the sporangiophore. This is the columella. This is the sporangium. And in the sporangium, there are number of the circular structures called as the spores. For example, it is found in the rhizopus. Now this is the second method, that is the asexual reproduction, which is found in the fungi, and these are the two different types, and they are endogenous type. That means these are the spores which are asexual spores. They are developed in another structure. For example, here this is the sporangium, and in the sporangium very large number of the spores, they are circular in outline, they are get developed. So this is the sporangiophore, which is a rod like a structure, tube like a structure. On this there is a circular structure called as the sporangium, and at the center there is the columella. So this is the columella, and above the columella there are number of the spores. When they get separate from the parent plant, they are get dispersed with the help of wind, and if the conditions are favorable, then each spore can germinate into a new mycelium of the new fungi. Now there is another type which is generally found in the Phycomycetes. Now this is the zoosporangium, in which there are number of the zoospores are get formed. Now the structure of a zoospore is like this. They have the two flagella anteriorly inserted. When these zoospore get dispersed with the help of wind, and if the conditions are favorable, they also get developed into the new mycelium. So both these spores and these zoospores, they are asexual endogenous spores. Now exogenous spores. These are the medullae and phaedae. Medullae, phaeolid. This is the sporangiophore, conidiophore. And these are large number of the conidia in chain. It is found in, for example, Aspergillus. So these are the exogenous spores. They are called as the conidia. They are called as the conidia. Generally they are found in the higher fungi, For example, they are found in the Aspergillus. It has a rod-like structure, tube-like structure at the base, which is called as the conidiophore. Above this, there is a circular structure called as the vesicle, and above the vesicle, there are again small tube-like structures. They are called as the medullae, and above the medullae, there are the phyllid. Now, these phyllid at their tip cuts off a small circular cells. They are in chain, and they are called as the conidia, and they are exogenous in origin. When they becomes mature, get dispersed with the help of wind, and if the conditions are favorable, they also develop into a new mycelium of here, for example, in Aspergillus. Now, next type of the reproduction, third type, that is the sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, there are the two gametes or the two compatible cells. They unite with each other. And in sexual reproduction in fungi, there are the three different steps. From this, number one, that is the plasmogamy. Second, that is the karyogamy. And third, that is the meiosis. Now, in sexual reproduction of the fungi, there are the two different types of the gametes, plus or minus, or two different types of the compatible cells are there. They are called as the opposite gamete. Now, first event in the life cycle of the fungi, in sexual reproduction of the fungi, is that is the plasmogamy. That means both of these cells, compatible cells or gametes, they unite with each other. The wall in between their contact is get dissolved, and only the union of the cytoplasm takes place, which is called as the plasmogamy. So this is the first event, and here there is the formation of a dikaryon. It is called as the dikaryon. Di, that is the two, karyon, that is the nucleus. That means only fusion of the cytoplasm takes place, so this is called as the plasmogamy. Now later on, both of these nuclei unites with each other to form a zygote, which is called as the karyogamy. That is the fusion of the two opposite nuclei, and there is a formation of a zygote, and this zygote is always diploid because there is a fusion of two opposite nuclei. So second event is get completed here, which is called as the karyogamy. And third event, that is the meiosis. That means this single nucleus divides meiotically into four haploid nuclei, which is called as the meiospores. And here, after this, spores are get formed. For example, ascospores, and this ascospore can germinate into the new mycelium. And last point, in the general character, that is the life cycle pattern. Life cycle pattern. In fungi, there are the three different types of the life cycle patterns are seen. That is the non-sexual. Second, that is the sexual. And third, that is the parasexual. So these different types of the pattern of the life cycle are found in the fungi, that is the non-sexual, sexual and parasexual. From these two, that is the non-sexual and sexual are common, and this the parasexual is found in some fungi only. So thank you.